Red Copper Flipwich is the two-plate sandwich maker. That's today's review, so let's get right to it. The Red Copper Flipwich is the latest in a line of red copper cookware. The most popular is probably the Red Copper Pan, which if you haven't seen my review for that, I'll link it below. So I've got it unboxed now, and the instructions state to wash it thoroughly and then season each side, so that's what I'm doing next. You gotta season the other side and do all over again. All right, now that the Red Copper Flipwich has been seasoned, it's time to put it to a real test. I want to start with something basic like a grilled cheese sandwich. One thing I found with these new copper cookware is even though the commercials seem to imply that they're really durable, you really have to kind of baby them in order to make the non-stick surface last. That's what I'm going to do with Red Copper Flipwich and see how long I can get it to last. But mainly I want to see if it really works as advertised. There's a recipe booklet included. It only has 10 recipes, so I wouldn't expect too much out of it. I'm going to make several of the recipes in here just to see how well it turns out. So hopefully this can help you either decide or decide not to purchase the Red Copper Flipwich. All right, now we're here for our first test. One little trick I learned from using the flipjack back in the day is to warm up both sides before you start cooking, because that way you have a nice hot surface and it doesn't take as long to cook. Let's do this. Oh, it's definitely kind of squeezing it. I can feel that. Let it sit about 2 minutes. I'll flip it and then hopefully it's done. It's been 2 minutes each side. We're going to turn the flame off, take it off the heat, and open it up and see how it looks. Hey, not too bad. Got some melted cheese. That's going to be interesting to clean up. It's weird how it went off to one side there too. Oh, that's burnt cheese. That'll be real good to see how that cleans up. Let's see how well it comes off of there. Oh, the burnt cheese is coming right off. That's nice. Oh, it all came right off. I like the little grill marks. That came off pretty good. So there we go. Got a little bit of cheese right here. Oh yeah, that just comes right off too. Well, the grilled cheese sandwich I think came out pretty good. All right, I think that's a success on that one. So the grilled cheese I think came out pretty good. Next up, I'm going to do some s'mores, but first I got to clean it. And I'm going to clean it the same way I've cleaned my Red Copper pan that it's held up pretty well. So let's get right to that. All right, I think the grilled cheese sandwich went pretty well. And next up for the Red Copper Flipwich, I'm going to make some s'mores according to their directions. Should be simple. Let's try it out. 4 graham crackers, they say. Okay, just fits. All right, I have to do this carefully here. Looks pretty nice. I think that's good. Got the flame on. Here we go. I hear it breaking. I'm just going to close it. I'm not going to actually lock it because I'm afraid I'm going to break the cookies. All right, 2 minutes. I hear sizzling in there. I'm going to do a quick flip. That was easy. All right, I think it's been long enough. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, very nice, very nice. That's going to be interesting to see how that cleans up. We got chocolate and marshmallow all around the pan itself, so I can't wait to see how that cleans. But those look nice. They even have little grill marks on them, which is kind of cool. It does look like the one edge got a little bit darker than the rest of it, which would be this edge right here. I'm not sure what that means yet, but we'll look into that further. It was pretty easy to make, tastes pretty good. I think we're doing pretty well so far in the Red Copper Flipwich. Now I got to clean this and see how that goes. Here we go. This could be a challenge. That's not, it's coming right off, that's good. On that side, this is more chocolate, the other side is more marshmallow. Oh, I'm relieved it's coming off because that was looking like it's going to be a pain. All right, well the chocolate side, that's pretty nice. All right, I'm happy about that. Now for the infamous marshmallow side, let's see what that's going to do. Well, it's coming out, it's coming out. Well, I'm really surprised about that marshmallow. It looked like it was not going to come off. So it was caked on and it just came right out with a little bit of dish soap. A little lightly scrubbing with a paper towel. Nice. Of course, it's still early, so things could change. If the two-handle design of Red Copper Flipwich looks familiar to you, you might recall a product called the Organic Flipjack, which was a pancake maker that had the same kind of dual pan design to it. And as a lot of people know, the Organic brand kind of evolved into the Red Copper brand, so it kind of makes sense they would put out a newer version of that product. Although this one isn't supposed to make pancakes, this is supposed to make sandwiches. After only using it a couple of times, my first impression is that it works pretty well. I have a couple of things that are maybe not a big deal, but if you're looking for anything to criticize about it, it seems a little flimsy and it's kind of small as well. But those two things aside, so far it's done pretty well on my tests, but we got more to go. How about some wieners next? There's actually a recipe in the booklet for hot dogs, which there's not much of a recipe, it just says basically put 6 of them in there and flip it after 2 minutes. But I'm going to do that and see how they turn out. It says you can do 6, so I have to open 5 plus 1. Okay, I can verify it does in fact hold 6 wieners. I've been using this back burner because it's the smallest burner on my stove, and they say not to use a flame that's larger than the induction plate, so I'm using the smallest one I have just to be safe because I'm not sure what would happen if I use a larger one. But I got the 6 hot dogs in there. They say 2 minutes each side. We'll see how that goes. And 2 minutes. Okay, I think they're done. Take it off the heat. Let's open it up and see what we have. Once again, I'll be interested to see how that cleans up. Looks pretty good. Got the grill marks. They look like they're sufficiently heated. So far, so good. All right, next up, let's try some hamburgers. The instructions just say to put it in a ball, put it on there. What I've done here, I've been warming it up both sides of the Flipwich, so when I put it on there, both sides will be warm. So I'm going to put a hamburger in there, close it up, and see what happens. Let's see how it goes. One thing I really wonder about hamburgers is when I flip it, is the juice going to come out of there? Because even though those are touching, I'm sure it's not completely leak-proof, so I'll have to turn it fast to make sure juices don't spill all over my stove. That's something I'm definitely going to be interested in see what happens. Notice that it's so small, I mean, I could really only make 1 hamburger. I'm just going to take a peek in there and see how it looks. I mean, it's not completely round. That could be my fault, though. There's a lot of grease in there, but it's cooking. This little lever here is pretty flimsy. It keeps coming off. Not the highest workmanship I've ever seen. Now what I want to do is I want to see how... I just want to turn it over in my sink first. Well, that's good. All right, I'm going to flip this again. Oh, see, I had grease leak. Grease leaked. So you really got to turn that fast. That's not good. wonder if I can just kind of leak it, drain it out of here. The problem is once all this grease starts getting built up in there, when you flip it, it's gonna leak out, because this is not leak proof. That's the one thing I was worried was gonna happen. I mean, it looks like it's cooking for sure, but now I think I drained most of the grease out. You might have to drain the grease out when you're cooking this like this. I mean, they don't say to do that, but if I don't do that, it's gonna drip onto my stove. I think it came out all right. And then this, I'm gonna have to clean that out. A lot of grease in there. The only problem though, like I thought, is when you flip it, after the grease starts coming out of that burger for a while, when you flip it, grease is gonna come out of the sides. So I was actually hanging over the sink. So anyway, I was actually holding it over the sink to drain the grease, because the grease will come out if you don't do that. All right, let's go. So we're at dinner and I'm thinking about the Red Copper Flipwich, and so far it's done a pretty good job. I did a grilled cheese sandwich, I did s'mores, I did 6 hot dogs, and I did a hamburger, and in all cases it did pretty well. The only negatives I can see so far are that the hamburger, when the grease came out of it, it did kind of leak out when I flipped it, so I was thinking about holding it over the sink to drain the juice out. If they don't tell you to do that in the commercial, but that's probably the best way of doing it. The other thing is it's a little bit flimsy. It doesn't seem like it's the highest quality. That little handle clip has come off a couple times. And also it's kind of small. It's about a little bit larger than a piece of bread. Now, if those things don't bother you, when it does work, it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it for what it is. I don't have high expectations of it either. But the most impressive thing I think so far is the non-stick surface. When I had those marshmallows that were melted on there, I was surprised that it came off as easy as it did with just soap, water, and a paper towel. So I think for $20, you know, as long as your expectations are realistic, it's actually not too bad. The video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to cut this short, but if you want more information on how I keep my copper pans in shape, check out my Red Copper pan review where I go into more detail there. If you've used a product like Red Copper Flipwich or the organic flipjack or another product like that, let me know what you think in the comments below. As with every product that I review, in a couple months I'll give you an update to let you know how it goes. Please subscribe for more as seen on TV product reviews from me, James White with Freakin' Reviews.